Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ian Campbell and Mark L. with Alpha Capital. Today, we're going to be going over the 401k enrollment materials, as well as talking to you about the decisions that you'll be making throughout the enrollment process. We're going to be going through a couple of series of documents here, all of which will be provided to you, most likely from John, in the form of an email. The first document that we'll be reviewing is going to be the online enrollment packet. It does have 14 pages. The first one's a cover page. Starting on the second page is the first initial step. We're going to talk about both the online enrollment or the PDF enrollment or the paper form. We really recommend everyone complete the online enrollment of the enrollment process. It's a lot easier, it's faster, and it's more secure for everybody. The first step for the online enrollment is you'll go to the provider's website, which is Retirement Plan Consultants, and that website link is on your screen right now. Once you get to that page, there'll be a gray box in the middle, top left corner of that. You'll see where it says Online Enrollment. You'll click that once, and then you'll be prompted at putting in a plan password. The plan password is JJK, enter, in all capital letters. And then you'll go through next, and then go through the following steps. For the purposes of the call, I wanted to discuss and show you on pages 8 through 11 is an onboarding step-by-step guide of going to that website and completing the online enrollment steps. Again, that gray box left-hand corner is going to be online enrollment. You'll be prompted to put in that plan password again, JJK, enter, all capital letters. And then you'll be prompted to putting in your information and contact information and creating a username and password. About halfway down in the enrollment, you'll see a section, and I'm going to scroll down to it, is where you'll be picking the investment choices, and you'll have the option of picking the source of money on how those investments are deployed. We do recommend everybody pick all sources of money for your contributions to be invested the same way across all assets. Going on to the PDF enrollment booklet, which is the second attachment, it's going to be 55 pages in length. The second page starts the application or the two-page application. It would be on page 2 and 3. The first part of this application, again, if you are completing the online enrollment, you do not have to fill out the paper form. This is really just for conversation purposes to show you what type of information you'll be filling out online. The first part is going to be self-explanatory there with just your contact information. The one piece of information that you'll most likely need or need to confirm is going to be your original date of hire. And you will need that for the online enrollment as well. The next section is going to be the enrollment. This starts those decisions. The first one being, are you going to participate or not in the plan? Hopefully the answer is yes for everybody, but understand that in some cases it may not make sense. And for those who do not want to participate, you will need to actually complete this paper version of the document for a waiver. So that first one section you'll fill out, you'll select this third option, I elect not to contribute in the plan at this time, and then turn that back into John. That's a way for them to present the benefit to you, and then you return the waiver saying you don't want to participate. If you say no now, it's not a no forever. You can enroll in the plan quarterly or those quarterly open enrollment windows. So if you say no now, the next open enrollment would be July 1, following would be October 1, January 1, April 1, and so on. For those who do want to participate in the plan, you have a couple of options from a contribution standpoint. One of them is a pre-tax contribution, and the other one would be a Roth or after-tax contribution. And the difference between the two is essentially when the money is taxed. It's either taxed on the inbound with a Roth contribution or taxed on the outbound when you withdraw it in retirement with a pre-tax contribution. And hedging those two scenarios is effectively when you would pay the least amount of tax is what you want to do. Because we do not know what tax rates are going to be in the future, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, it is somewhat of a best guess. We tend to see people do the pre-tax contribution more. Those individuals are normally in a higher earners or later in their working career, but also another reason for doing that is to capitalize on the tax savings today, to the tax benefit today. For those who want to do Roth, we tend to see those individuals are going to be younger or in their earlier working years, and then also in a lower tax bracket as well. So they'd rather pay the taxes today versus sometime in the future of an unknown tax rate. Depending on what you choose, you can adjust that over time as well, so nothing is set in stone. Same with the contribution amount in your investments. The contribution amount, there are two spots here just from a discussion standpoint. 8% is the national average. So your peers, my peers, all industries and all age groups are saving on average 8% of their income into their own 401k or retirement plan. The 10% number is there because that is a good goal to set for yourself to be as a savings rate of. If you were to ask me, ask other investment professionals, what should you be saving in a 401k account or should you be saving in your retirement plan? 10% would be a great number to be at, if not slightly bigger, to around 15%. There's also a blank spot there, and you are also free to choose whatever else percentage that you would like throughout, really the course of the year. You can adjust that a couple times a year, it's quarterly normally, and whatever you decide today, again, is not set in stone or over the weekend or vice versa. I'm going to hop down to the second page of the enrollment form, which is going to be the investment options that you have available to you. All of these are all institutional grade mutual funds, and what that means to you is they're all low cost or the lowest cost available to investors. All of these are also top quartile performers in their respective categories, and part of Mark and I's role as the advisors on the plan is to make sure this investment menu is good today, but we are constantly reviewing it quarterly through an evaluation criteria and making sure that they are good today, but also good in all future quarters. If there is a fund that doesn't do well, we're going to pull that out and replace it with a like-kind fund in that same category. If you had money invested in that one fund, it'll just get mapped over automatically for you to that new fund. So we're constantly improving and making this lineup better or the best that it can be. But telling you you've got good investments and low-cost investments doesn't help with that selection or decision. So part of our ongoing advice to you as individuals is we put together a model asset allocation guide, and this will be sent out quarterly along with a newsletter and a short video for education purposes. This asset allocation guide is to help for those who want to be hands-on with their investments or those who want to be hands-off with their investment selection. For the ones that want to be hands-on, all of the investments are listed in this left-hand column. Their asset class is in that second column, the ticker symbol is in the third. If you care to do more research, you can simply Google this 5-letter ticker symbol and find out a great deal of information online through Morningstar or the Fund Family's website. And the next 5 columns they'll see are broken out into different risk tolerances, from conservative to an aggressive. For those who are in their 20s and 30s, we tend to see in that aggressive column. In your 40s and 50s, we tend to see people in that moderate aggressive column. And then folks in their 60s, we tend to see in that moderate column. Other than that, it's rarely we'd see people in that conservative or moderate conservative column unless they're in retirement age or looking just for preservation. So being mindful of your risk tolerance is important. The ask is if you're going to follow one of these columns, you would simply transfer these percentages. So you'd see, okay, if I'm 60 years old, 50-50 is going to be my allocation that I want. I want to be hands-on. You'd find that PNC International Equity out of that investment menu, put 4%. Go down to the next one, find Dodge and Cox, put 6%. Go down and follow it down the rest of the list. The ask is as we come out with new updated numbers quarterly, we often change them about twice a year. So it's not a huge ask, but we'd want you to make those adjustments to your account if we are recommending a change or a slight adjustment as well. So the ask is that you just pay attention to the updates that come out if you want to be hands-on to follow that guide. For those who want to be hands-off or more in an autopilot scenario, these target date funds are a great solution. It's kind of a one-stop shop. So you would find out what year it would be when you reach age 65, and that's going to put you into one of these target date ranges. So let's say it's going to be 2042 when you retire. this would be your most appropriate fund, and you would go 100% into that one fund, or all of your money would be into that one fund. It's diversified all in that one fund as well. So it'd be a good solution just as a one-stop shop. These blue ones that I've highlighted, or the bigger the years, are for those who are younger because they're going to retire later in life. And they're going to be similar to that aggressive column because they're for those younger individuals. Those who are going to be in that middle range from 2025 to 2040, it's going to be similar to that moderate aggressive column. And then those who are closer to the retirement year present day is going to be in those lower, 3 numbers, or more in that moderate column from a risk standpoint as well. And what's appropriate for you today in one of the target date funds, it stays appropriate with you throughout your working career. They de-risk automatically, so it starts out at 80 to 90% in equities, and then it will automatically drop its risk every 5 years, and that's why there's 5-year increments to be more conservative over time, and then ultimately reaching a 50-50 portfolio once you reach retirement age. Mark and I's contact information is on the bottom of this worksheet. If you have any questions, it'll also be in the email. You're free to reach out to us at any time. One mentioned there is no cost of changing or making adjustments to your investments. Nothing is set in stone. You can adjust it every single day if you wished. We don't recommend that, but you can. And there is no cost of going in and out of any of these funds as well. Hopping back to the enrollment form, there's 2 other quick things that we wanted to cover before wrapping this up. The beneficiary designation form is important to fill out. In the event that you pass away, the monies that you've accumulated in the account go to whom you wish. So please make sure you're updating that information online. If you're completing the online enrollment, there'll be a section there that you can put in beneficiary information. If you want to fill out the paper form, you can as well. As a scenario, husband and wife couple, the spouse would be listed as primary beneficiary. If they had 2 children, they would list their 2 children as contingent beneficiaries at 50% apiece. You can always go online and update that beneficiary information to keep that current as well. There is a note, this is an IRS rule that's on the bottom of this worksheet. It's called a spousal consent. In the event that you are married, your spouse is technically first in line. And if you are intending to skip your spouse and not name them as primary beneficiary, or they're not primary at 100%, then they have to acknowledge that they're being skipped, and a witness notary also needs to be present as well. So be mindful of that. If that does apply, you will have to fill out a paper form just so we have those signatures. For those who have outside accounts or old 401ks or old IRA accounts that are called being neglected or not being tended to, you do have an opportunity of rolling over those monies to the 401k plan. It can be done at any time. There's a whole team at Retirement Plan Consultants, the provider, that can do the heavy lifting for you and transferring those assets over to the new 401k plan for you. This form that you're seeing on your end is going to be the receiving side of it. I'm going to say that, hypothetically speaking, you had an account at Fidelity. Fidelity is going to have their form as well for them to send a check or process that distribution or roll out for you to move those monies over to RPC. So if that does apply to you, you have any outside assets that you'd like to consolidate in a qualified account, you can do that. Feel free to reach out to us. There's a gal by the name of Stephanie Wolf at RPC that can also help and assist doing that transition as well. That is all that we wanted to cover today. Again, as I mentioned throughout this call, you're free to reach out to Mark and I for any questions. Feel free to give us a call or talk to us at any time in the future, and hope everybody has a wonderful day and happy savings. Thank you.